Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I am in my Sunday best, which means, yes, we're gonna do some painting today. We're gonna apply Pour 15 to Bear's frame and some steering and suspension parts. Let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna talk at you real quick about Pour 15, then we're gonna get right into it. It's a 4-step process. Don't skip a step or this stuff could fail on you in the long term. You got a cleaner degreaser, you got a metal prep, you got Pour 15 itself, and then you got a top coat. Before you get started with all that, go to the dollar store, get yourself some squirt bottles and throw away paintbrushes. Also, rubber gloves. Maybe not dollar store ones, get some good ones. You're gonna be wearing these a lot. The cleaner degreaser, you mix this 4-to-1 with water. Now, you could use it straight, but I think you'd just be wasting the product at that point because it works really well mixed 4-to-1. Remember, you're wearing your gloves as you're handling your parts. So cleaner degreaser, you use that stuff, you rinse it off with water. After that dries, you're moving on to metal prep. This stuff you don't mix, you use it straight. What you're doing is you're keeping the part wet for 30 minutes on really heavy rusted parts, 10 to 15 on like your bare metal stuff, which is really what I'm doing here. This puts a zinc phosphate coating that stops the rust in its tracks and keeps it from rusting in the long term. After that's done and we've rinsed that off, we're moving over to Pour 15. This stuff, you get it on your skin, you're not getting it off real easy, so be careful. Gloves. It's a self-leveling product, so you're using a paintbrush, you're putting it on, you're gonna see some brush strokes, but give it 10 to 15 seconds and they disappear. It is not UV protected, so it will fade in the sun. That's why they make a top coat. Now on chassis parts, is it gonna see the sun? No, they're not gonna see the sun, but we are gonna go the extra mile and do the top coat, which I got chassis black, probably their most popular color, right? They've got bag of Skittles, guys. Pink, yellow, orange, white, black, blue. They got all the colors you could ever want. I've heard guys just using Rust-Oleum on top of the Pour 15 that'll work as well. Great product. We're gonna jump into it. I'm just gonna start doing some parts. I'll narrate as we go. Hopefully you're entertained and maybe informed. Yes, I am putting a lot of faith in these straps. This frame is not light, but up like this in almost vertical position, this allows me to hose it down and it'll drain quickly. It also allows me to paint both sides. But before we get started, check out some of these welds. Quality control was not really a big thing at GM, I don't think. If you know anything about welding, it really shouldn't look like that. Looks like a 10th grader's shop project or something. I mean, there's splatter everywhere. Look at this ball of stuff. Okay, yeah, we're gonna get the grinder out and take a couple of these off just because I can't leave that on there. All right, we're cleaning and degreasing. Notice we got a well-ventilated area. I'm wearing gloves. Should have been wearing safety glasses. Make sure you do that, guys. Notice I got very clean metal. I put a lot of work into this. It doesn't have to be this clean, guys. It can be rusty. Just make sure you knock off all the loose stuff with a wire brush. You're gonna spray that degreaser on, be liberal with it, get all the nooks, crannies, and corners. If you see a spot that needs some attention, get in there with a wire brush as you're spraying. Just take care of it. After you're satisfied, go ahead and rinse it off with the hose. Be careful not to splash this stuff in your eyes. You're gonna go ahead and just rinse it off. Now I'm gonna do this whole process a couple times till the water coming off the part is clear, right? I don't wanna keep rinsing and seeing dirt. That means we're not ready yet. So get all the stuff off your part. You know, clean water is coming off. Yeah, that's about it. So let's move on to the next step. All right, I can't emphasize this enough. well-ventilated area. This stuff stinks. You got to protect yourself. You're going to spray this stuff like crazy on these parts. Be liberal with it. The heavy rusted parts you want to keep wet, consistently wet for 30 minutes. So you're spraying it, and then maybe after 5 minutes, come back, spray it again. The cleaner metal, they say 10 to 20 minutes. I'm doing like 15 to 20 on this frame here. After all said and done, we're going to rinse this with the hose. Really good. I mean, spray it down. You'll start to notice the parts are turning a different color, like a white. You might see some gold color from the rust. It's pretty cool to watch. Once this is bone dry, I mean no water at all left on the part, bone dry, we're going to start the Pour 15 application. So let's get to it. All right, so I got this guy hanging sideways because a lot of water will sit in here if I had it, upright the way it was before. So I kind of let the one strap down. We're just letting it hang. It's draining out the bottom down here. So yeah, you can see how it changed colors. You get the little bit of rust color, some white. That's okay. That's the way it's supposed to look. So once this is bone dry, we're moving on to the Pour 15. All right, this Pour 15, this stuff is thick. According to the can, you stir it, you don't shake it. Pour what you think you need into a separate container and make sure you seal up the can really well. The lip around the edge of the container, make sure you clean anything out of there, because if you hammer that lid back down, you're gonna have a heck of a time getting it back off in the future. This stuff cures with humidity, so the more humid it is, the better as far as cure time is concerned. And if you were painting straight out of the can, well, the stuff that's in the can, you're not going to use the whole thing. It's going to start to cure, and that kind of ruins the stuff. So that's why they say use a separate container. When you're done, if you have any left over, don't pour it back in the can, because that stuff's already started to cure. So you don't want to ruin your batch. We're going to do 2 light coats and probably wait about an hour and a half in between the first and second coat. It's pretty humid today, we'll see. Make sure you have lacquer thinner handy. Clean up any spills. You can also use a little bit of that stuff to get this off your skin. Be careful though, it can burn. Yeah, make sure you tape off anything you don't want painted. So like on this frame here, I got the upper control arm studs. I got some tape around those. Any threaded holes in this frame, we'll run a tap through them before we reassemble. And then we'll show you the finger drag check. That's kind of the way you can tell if it's ready for its second coat. All right, I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but this paint has now gone like a satin black, semi-gloss. That's its kind of cured state. Now the other way to check is take your finger, drag it along here. Can you hear that? No product on my finger, leaves kind of a little racetrack. We're good to go for the second coat. All right, second coat is on, looks terrific. We're back to glossy black for now till this stuff cures. We're gonna hit this in the morning with the top coat, and this guy will be done. And so will this video. All right, it is the next day. We're gonna apply our top coat. We're gonna do 2 thin coats of this stuff. As you can see, it's raining. So we're a little cramped in here because, yeah, I just can't leave Frank outside in the rain. So gonna be very careful we don't splash him with any of this black top coat. But basically, this stuff is the same as the Pour 15. Stir it, don't shake it. There's lumpy stuff in the bottom. Make sure you stir it well enough so you don't feel that stuff anymore. You're gonna pour out what you need. I had to take an old apple juice bottle, cut it in half, use that as a container. That works. Just clean it out real good. We're gonna go ahead and apply the 2 thin coats. Just keep your eye out for any runs or drips. You know, you can smooth that out before it cures. One other thing that'll make this easier is if you use a different colored Pour 15. So say you want your frame to be chassis black. Painting black on black can be a little tedious because it's hard to see, what you've not hit, especially with the shadows in this garage. So you could use, say, a silver Pour 15, paint the frame silver. And then after it's cured and you're ready for top coat, now you can switch to black. It's much easier to see, where you've painted and where you haven't painted. So just an idea. We're going to let this cure for a few days, and then the real fun begins. All right, I think we can end the episode off there. Both applications of the top coat have been applied to the frame. The other thing is, as you can see, I've been working on control arms and spindles and sway bars and all kinds of other things in the background, getting it ready for, yes, reassembly. That's what we'll be doing this weekend. So we're going to take this frame down the shop. We're going to strap it to the lift, get it up to where it's easy to work on, and we're just going to slowly put everything back together. I hope you stick around and check that out. So in the meantime, guys, do me a favor, like, subscribe. I'll see you later. Have a good one.